Good evening. This is Walter Cronkite of CBS News. Today marks Day 3 of the Democratic National Convention live from Chicago, Illinois. Over the past week, many delegates, community members, and civil rights groups have convened to discuss an electoral strategy for the upcoming 1968 election. Delegates have flowed into the theater over the past week with hopes to nominate a Democratic Party presidential candidate. The last couple of months have been a period of profound turmoil, with protests occurring in our major U.S. cities, leaving hundreds injured, hundreds killed, and leading to a country even further divided. The issue of the Vietnam War is increasingly debated as both pro-war and anti-war Democrats are present here in Chicago this week. Some of the heavyweights for the support of troops in Vietnam include Vice President Humphrey and President Johnson's presidency campaign, as he has stated, to withdraw from one's battlefield means we only need to prepare for the next battlefield. Former Texas Governor John Connally is here today, and he said continued support for Johnson's ideologies. I had the chance to catch up with John Connally and asked him why an American citizen should support troops in Vietnam. John Connally, there's been countless protests and debate over the war in Vietnam. What do you want the American public to know how you'll handle the war in Vietnam?
As a war man myself, I've been in battle. I've seen the treacherous of fallen soldiers and such things, and I believe is if we have a strong community back at home advancing into the war efforts, I believe that we can, as an honorable country, save these people from communists taking over them and losing their freedom. So I personally believe if we have a strong base at home, that can push us to have even a better war effect in Vietnam.
There's a substantial amount of highly spirited individuals that are in attendance here this week in Chicago. The name of the group is called the Students for a Democratic Society. The SDS, over a long period of time, has strongly and actively criticized the United States' involvement in the Vietnam War. The organization is additionally here to protest the problems of poverty and the argument that the American system of politics is utterly corrupt. Tom Hayden and Abby Hoffman are present and lead the charge in support of the group. Tom Hayden and the SDS believe that the U.S. should have no involvement in the war, that our loved ones are dying, and there should be no draft. Hayden and the SDS are directing their views from some of the words of the late Robert Kennedy, who made a speech back in February about the involvement in the Vietnam War. In the wake of the Tet Offensive, Kennedy described the troops of the war this past February. Kennedy strongly stated, despite 700,000 U.S. and South Vietnamese soldiers, the Allies are unable to secure a single city as enemy strength remains the same. There's a major illusion that we can win a war which the Vietnamese cannot win for themselves, as Robert Kennedy stated. The SDS additionally stands up for their voice when getting rid of the draft. David Harris, a few months back, had his viewpoints on the draft. Harris believes that the lives of the young people in this country belong not to these young people, but instead are possessions of the state. Hayden has a strong message for Mayor Daley, pro-war delegates, and all non-liberals across the country. Tom Hayden, in a loud and passionate voice, stated, "The influence of the Cold War has spread across the country. There's a near and total absence of liberal position, elite leaders suppress free speech, and much more." You can see the scene here with Hayden's passion.
We are standing in a literal prison state right now. There are cops in the streets. There are literal fucking daily dozers, man.
Sit down or else
Mayor Daley has kept his promise to keep the streets of Chicago safe, as there should be no outrage, everyone must remain civil, and that nothing will be accomplished through anarchy, according to his words. Without it, society becomes a jungle, he additionally stated. Daley has promised to continue to stand for law and order and increase patrol in the city. You can see the confrontation between Daley and Hayden here.
Oh, this city is now a war zone, and you are preparing to disrupt and to violently suppress our right to speak our minds?
Which aspect of the war zone? The race war or you?
Here. We are here to speak our minds. But so far, all we have been met with is violence and oppression. We have only been silenced.
I don't think you have.
In the last session, we got to hear from Vice President Hubert Humphrey as he laid out his plan for the war on poverty, and we got to hear from Secretary Byrd and why he believes there should be more police force in United States cities. In the convention today, we will get to hear from McGovern, McCarthy, and Connolly, and many more potential candidates. We're preparing that McGovern and McCarthy will be challenging Johnson's and Humphrey's support of the Vietnam War, as both candidates have shared opposition to the growing U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War. I'm Walter Cronkite of CBS News, and that's the way they said it. Have a good